Ignacio Galán, it's a pleasure having you here on the podcast.
Thank you very much for having this opportunity to stay here in London with you today.
Fantastic. Now you got a green tie and you got green tea and it's all quite green. Now, where did you? And you've been a visionary when it comes to renewable energy. Now, when did you see the light? How did it come about?
Well, I think I joined the company. I was in my professional life. I was in telecoms. I was the founder of Airtel, today Vodafone Spain. I was already reconverting the shipyard, Spanish shipyard, into aeronautics. And I was previously as a battery engineer. I was designing, manufacturing, and selling batteries and making international expansion. So I joined the company beginning of 2001, so almost 23 years ago. And I think always I've been very much aware about what we are doing with the planet. Perhaps my roots are already I grew in a village, in a small village, less than 1,000 inhabitants. And always the nature for me was something crucial. And I think I read a lot about Kyoto's. Kyoto has already been signed a few years before. And I said, why this company, electricity company, have to continue generating with coal, with gas, with oil, with fossil fuels, which is not sustainable resource. Once we have already wind, sun, and another resource, hydro, the electric as well. My great grandfather was one of the pioneers in the hydroelectric in Spain. So and I think we make a plan in which was to close all our coal and oil power plants and transform that one into invest in renewables. At that time was already the most efficient world wind onshore, and I think we are starting investing in wind onshore. We started transforming our hydroelectric in reversible in order to make already pumping and generating. And I think, and that was, all this was very easy. So my board approved just an investment plan of 16 billion euros. At that time was a lot of money. So,
Well, I actually don't think it was that easy, but
but I think let me the green. But I said we have to change the color of the company. And when I said to change the color of the company, which traditionally was in blue color, because hydro is blue, so there's no way. I need 3 board meetings to changing the blue to green. Finally, they said green, but green Alcantara. Alcantara is the name of one of our dams, of our hydroelectric power plant. So that's why it was probably the decision taken by my board. I need to make more effort to convince them. So that's why all our people are recognizing the effort we made for that one, and that's why we are using all green in this moment in the company.
Now you come from a small village close to Salamanca.
Yeah, on the western part of Salamanca province, close to Portugal.
Does any of these, do any of the values from your upbringing influence the way you run the company?
Well, first, the sense of family, the sense of friendship, the sense of the word given. I think if you break a word, a promise, I think in this village, 3 generations after, somebody will remind that your great-grandfather was not a really serious man. The sense of the austerity, the sense of use of the resources as better as possible, what is today we call circular economy. It was not good to use this name before, but I think we try to use all resources in different manner. But I think mainly those one. And I think the easy access to people, I think is not to be arrogant, to be as the people of the countryside, which are simple people.
Yeah. No, I can underwrite that. I have now. I traveled with you yesterday across Spain, looking at your installations. You for sure treat everybody like a family. Now, zooming out a bit, so you are at the forefront of the renewable energy revolution, but only 30% of energy now globally are from renewable. Why is it going so slow?
Even less. So even less. I think in the total, I think if the latest number which I got is something like 25% is electricity and 75% is fossil fuels. And this electricity, almost half of it, is already generated with fossil fuels. Why that? So because nothing has been done for many years, and now we are not doing enough. I think the fact during the last energy crisis in the last 2 years, if instead of being so dependent of gas coming from a single country, mostly Russia, in the case of Europe, we had already invested much more in renewable. The problem we had already been facing had been minimized.
And why has that taken such a long time? What are the
So for
challenges
many
there?
reasons. So I think it's the long-term vision. I think we talk about Europe, but we can talk globally. The long-term vision. Everybody agrees about 2050. Almost everybody agrees 2050. We've been for many years discussing if the responsible of the emissions is the fossil fuels or responsible are whatever thing. So now everybody agrees the fossil fuels are already generating a problem in terms of the contamination, in terms of the global warming, etc., etc. And I think everybody agrees almost everybody agrees for 2050 that we have to diminish the temperature, so on, so on, so on. But when we talk for 23, or when we talk for even 2030, so they start the discussion. And why? Because the short term, systematically, in most countries, in the decision-making process of the government, the short term is always overlapping the long-term vision. So even having already short-term targets, if anything is happening, they automatically change the rules. So last 2 years. So electricity were not responsible for the increase of the prices of European energy. It was the gas. But politicians were penalizing, trying to reform the electricity market. It was not the electricity. It was the gas, the source of that one. Now they recognize. But what happened? If they start putting taxes, charges, whatever thing, meantime, the people stop. And
What
I
are you-
think,
how-
and
how-
that is up and down systematic on that one.
And how are you working with the regulators and politicians to try to change
So-
this? Because also there's quite a bit here in terms of permissions and getting approval for projects and so on, which is very, very slow.
So I think our sector, we have the same, let's say, customers. The citizens are receiving the electricity in a continuous basis.
Yeah.
And I think we are serving the same population. But the point of this is, and we are very close comment. For instance, in all those things that I was mentioning before during the last 2 years with this intervention in the electricity market, some countries start trying to make crazy changes in the way how the pricing in electricity is fixed. So what they call the electricity market reform. So things of the conversation, we had already had good regulators of Europe, of the European authorities in different countries. What being approved is something which has much logic. So, which I think sometimes I think they're talking with many people in different sectors, and they have to try to make the best. But we are already really good understanding, especially with the European Union authorities or European Union Parliament. They are not so stressed for the short-term problems where they're pushing the public opinion into the government of different member states.
But why is the approval process for new projects taking so long?
Well, because there are too many authorities involved. I think if we are depending on the national authorities, different department which is concerned about environmental, department which are concerned about real estate, department which are concerned about the transmission and the interconnection, departments which, many of those. But same thing is replicated at regional level, same thing is replicated at the local level. So in such a way that each of them can really put some restriction and delays. So for instance, for presented a plan of environmental plan, we need already almost to make previews to present it almost 2 years of studies. So it's 2 years, but we are looking what is the birds, what are the animals, and we present a big dossier. And that goes to the different authorities, we then revise with...
And one after the other, never in parallel.
Exactly. That is my point. And second thing, with now, thanks to this conversation with European authorities, I'm very pleased that a few days ago, the European Parliament has approved 2 measures which for me are crucial. I was saying why, if it's so urgent, the carbonization, we are applying the national interest for accelerating the process. It was making the past. I was living in Germany in the 80s after the reunification. And they applied the national interest for accelerating the process of the East Germany. And it was, why we are not making something like a European level? So now the parliament is already approved a bill in this sense. We have to be translated to the national legislation. It's already put in a target, a target for maximum 2 years for obtaining the permits. There are countries which are working themselves, the authorities, to make all this analysis. Instead to be made analysis one by one, all the people who are making we are going to make the investment in such a way they provide this territory in which you are allowed to make this and this and this. Instead to present, they say no. They said here you can make that one. So the transmission, they facilitate the things in order to have the connection. Prior, we are asking for the connection. So there are things which are already moving in this direction. The point is that we are seeing the climate change is a reality. We are suffering every time more and more. But a part of the problem of the effect of the climate change, I think, is the self-sufficiency. I was insisting to the European authorities, the Fit for 55, which is the target of reduction of to make 55% of the electricity by renewable sources by 2030. So instead of call Fit for 55, let's call Fit for self-sufficiency. Probably the people will understand better. The only way to keep the lights on is to have our own electricity generated with our own resources, natural resources, sustainable one.
Okay. Changing tack a bit here. Yesterday we saw green hydrogen production. We saw hydropower and pumping. We saw
Wind.
Wind. We saw solar. We saw a lot of different things. So when you look at all these technologies, what are you most optimistic about?
It depends on the countries. It depends on the territories. It depends on the resources. In my opinion, it is no sense to invest in solar in areas which are not very much sunny. In my opinion, it is no sense to invest in onshore wind in areas which is not windy. Yeah. And in my opinion, it is no sense to make already offshore in areas which are very far from the shore and is very costly today. But that's why I think it's a combination. So for me, the solution is not one technology, another one. All technologies are needed. All technologies, if we would like to achieve the target.
What about fusion? There's been some breakthroughs lately.
So I think I finished the university in 1972, so almost 51 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was already hope.
Yeah. But now they have actually done some breakthroughs, right?
It was done already. The fusion was done, but without control. Now it's done with some control in a very small scale. And so I'm not already in the short term optimistic. And the second thing, I'm not sure what is going to be the competitiveness of this technology.
But could we end up in a situation where electricity is free?
Well, free. I think that is something which that says some of people which is let's say with a certain political characteristic, because they don't distinguish the difference between to have already only fixed cost or to have variable cost. They feel that those things we only have fixed cost is free. It's not true. So I think you can already you have already the capex. We have to be paid. You have the financial cost. You have the operational cost. It's true that you are not fuel, but today you are not fuel for the onshore. You are not fuel for the solar. You are not fuel for the wind onshore. But I think you have a cost. Yeah, so it's not free.
Well, interestingly, we are today kicking off an MBIM-wide training program on the energy transition. So we have more than 230 people out of 630 who've signed up for this. So it's an eight course module that we are putting in place. So really, we share your view on the importance of upskilling. But how do you develop the leaders then? So these are all the employees. Now, how do you personally develop the leaders?
So I think it's the new times with the telework is something which I'm especially concerned. I think leaders are those ones which they need to touch people. When you're only touching just a screen, I don't know how the leadership can be built. So we are trying to, our people, we have fortunately dozens of hundreds of works in the moment project, which are in operation. And I try for all means that our young people, with the people with high potential, are part of making a wonderful master. We have master of in management and whatever, with Starkla University, with Yale University, with MIT. So all those things. but to touch people. And I think we are putting young people just in front of a small project to make a solar power plant with 100 people or 200 people to lead with and to force them to deliver in time, delivering cost, negotiating with the local authorities, negotiating on vendors, and to learn the reality. I think perhaps an extrapolating my experience. I think when I finished, I was designing batteries, but I was already managing a factory of batteries. And then I learned a lot about that, how to deal with trade union, how to deal with local authorities, how to deal with lawyers, because always it's impossible everything, how to deal with the numbers to make, and I think that make to grow these people. When somebody has been managing a project of 50 million capex, this guy after can go to make already a project of 200, and after we have to go a project of 1 billion.
How many people in Iberdrola do you know?
1,000. I spent 200 days per annum traveling around. I think I was last Thursday with 400 people coming from all over the world during.
So you got 200 travel days.
Yeah, all day.
You are 73 years old.
Yeah, every day.
And where do you talking about? You're an energy company. Where do you get the energy from? What is your charging
my horse, my bike, my cows.
Is that your energy? Is that your charging station? Your farm.
Well, I think normally when I need to take a hard decision, so normally it's not a joke, it's a reality. I used to go to my ranch, I take my horse, and I used to walk with my horse. And afterwards I come down and start writing. And I came with a paper, so yes, I'll write about the ideas. And I think that you see the world different manner. I cannot take a decision looking at the world. I can't. I need open spaces.
Could you just drill down a bit more here on? So you are from Salamanca. You talk about your farm, the family. It's very clear when I travel around with you that you have a special way of treating people. Just tell me a bit more about it.
No, well, I think for me, human being is the most important thing of the economical activity. Without the people, without the persons, I think that you can never succeed. So I think I remember I have a Jesuit education, and I remember some of my professors, even some of my initial bosses, they used to say to me one sentence, which I always try to apply. Your success is the success of your people. And the failure of your people is your failure. So try to put always around you people with more capability than yours. And never make then they are guilty, you are guilty, either make any mistake.
And how does this translate into the time frame of your thinking? So short term versus long term.
Well, I think the long term is something I think when you are at top of a company, we are 24 hours a day. We have to be making our brain work. So it's not rest. I think you can have good ideas when you're riding horse, when you're cycling, when you're in the office. I think it's 24 hours a day. But and I think that is the long term. The long term ideas normally appear, thinking and looking different things, which are coming from here. And one moment everything is combined. So the short term is already you need to put in your life targets on that one. And targets, measure targets. I think is as well. You cannot already relax, saying the things is going to happen. They need to happen now. So they say, no, no, you're not making this popular today. It's going to be popular tomorrow. You have to make every day the things popular. The total quality starts for very beginning the process, not at the end. So, but another one, in the vision, we are not changing the vision every day. You're not changing the strategy every day. I think we have a vision for 22 years. We believe in a world decarbonized. We believe in a world we can provide the energy the world requires using natural resources. We believe in certain of those things. That is the vision.
Well, we transact with many companies, and we do think that transacting with Iberdrola is a bit different. It's more relational, less transactional. and it's more long-term in nature, and I think it's really good. It has a higher level of trust, more long-term thinking, more give and take, uh, and we really for sure appreciate it. And another reason why we really like it, you have exceptional project execution. Now you mentioned the word German here previously.
I've been 5 years in Germany.
Now, tell me about how you run projects. Why are they so good?
So first, because we try to define clearly all the details prior we started the construction of a project. I think we are trying to fix all the details prior we start FID. But second, the people which are taking that one are committed with it. So it's always I come people. I think when the people feel the ownership of the project and the pride. You saw yesterday this guy has already built Cortes La Muela. He's proud of what has already done. These people are transmitting. I think they are many of those. They are already their family as well, brothers or son of the family inside of the company. So they are proud to say, I did that one, I executed that one in time. So that is a sign of ownership with that makes. And I think that is very important. I think in this my continuous trip around the company, I think that is what I think I perceive from these people. Then they set of pride what they are doing. So and that's why they execute because it's their pride to make that one in time, in cost, and that's it. I was at the beginning of September. I was visiting a couple of offshore farms, one in France, Saint-Brieuc, and another one in Germany, Baltic Eagle. So you see, they're French people and they're German. So, well, German and from other countries because they were all mixed, different nationalities. How proud they are showing to me what the drilling system they've been had invented for putting the foundation of this one. And they are proud of saying, oh, we invented this one for making that one. I mentioned to you yesterday how they invented some system for avoiding then the whales had already suffered because of the noise of this one. And they're proud of this one. And that makes them that happen.
How do you inject a sense of urgency into the organization? How important is speed in what you do?
So perhaps because I always asking for everything for yesterday.
Yeah.
And this mind is coming to everybody. When somebody comes to me and said, I know yesterday is to tomorrow. And that is moving everybody in this direction.
Do you micromanage? I mean, how do you get the balance right between having an eye for detail and letting people have freedom in the decision making?
So we have a structure, a matricial structure, so which is each of the CEOs of the different countries, and we have already the business area. So responsible of networks, global responsible of renewables, we're responsible of marketing, and but I think we have every morning or every Monday morning, everybody's coming to our operation committee, and no one decision left to take the decision. So the paper is coming here for taking the decision. Every Monday, people knows the thing is done. And it's passing through people from different areas, from the department, explaining their project. Go. So in that, so we know very much in detail what is happening everywhere. But I think at the same time, the globalization of the company through the business heads are already just defining in the same direction for everybody.
Is it challenging to operate in so many different markets?
Well, I think more than a challenge,
I mean, you are
it's an
in
opportunity.
Spain, UK, Brazil, US,
Australia,
Mexico.
Germany, France, Greece, Hungary,
Yeah.
Poland, Portugal. So, but I think it's an opportunity. So we learn very much each another. For instance, our operation, network operation in United States is managed by Brazilians. And why Brazilians? Because the grid of the state we have present in New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maine, the design is very similar to the design we have our distribution companies in Brazil. So, which is very different of the design we have in Scotland or the design we have in Spain. So I think in that each another learn a lot. So we have already a British, which are already in the global purchase, Charles Jordan. So which I think is a guy which has very good relation with Iran. So And I think that adds a lot of value for the whole group. So people from different nationalities, different mentalities, different skills, then we are moving around.
Talking about nationalities, so China controls a very big part of the solar and the battery market. How is that impacting your strategy?
With a part of solar panels, we are not already much of relation with the Chinese industry. So I think solar, we had already in the past. Gamesa was our vendor, is one of our vendors to buy. They have a factory in China, but I think we are buying in Europe. I don't know where they buy the components. But in terms of equipment, probably the largest part of our purchase is just solar panels, which is coming from China. China and countries around, so which is Vietnam and which are making made by Chinese. We have not much relation with China.
Now, we have tens of thousands of young people
Yeah,
listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
What is your advice to young people?
to be courageous, to be all life learning. The things are rich with effort. Don't feel that the things are coming by free. They have to work. They need to work hard, and they have to be continually learning, and to take decisions. If they have not to mind if they make mistakes. If they make mistakes, they have to continue taking decisions and to try to correct the mistake they did. But valientes, to be courageous, not to get afraid. The world is offering hundreds of opportunities for them, more than ever.
Yeah. Well, you for sure have been very courageous in your life. And what I'm looking forward to is that when we both have retired, and 5-10 years after that, I will bring some marinated salmon, a grouse from the Norwegian mountains. I'll pick some mushrooms outside Oslo, and we exchanged some pictures yesterday. And I'll come down to your farm, and you put on some of your jamon because you have pigs and
I think
cows.
we can cook already. Yes, it's wonderful. You facing fish, myself facing meat, and I think we can make a wonderful meal
And
together.
you are also a big producer of Rioja wine, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And then we will sit there, and we will toast to all the work you have done to transform the global energy system. Well done.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased and very proud to have partners like yourself to work together with the same long-term view and to try to collaborate for making a better world, because we have not another world. If we destroy that one, we cannot pass this world to our future generation. It's
Absolutely.
our obligation not to make mistake in this sense.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you to you. Thank you.